before that, let's look at page 4 of the Standard. Bleak prospects for exam cheats as CS tightens Matiang'i's rules. And apparently it is appearing that there are even some parents that are willing to pay or ask for 10,000 shillings for them to, or rather there's some teachers who are asking parents to pay for 10,000 shillings for them to get leakage of examinations. Page 4 of the Standard. Now, the CS, of course, coming out to, say that they are not asleep and this is not going to happen. Let's start with you, James. Your thoughts on how examinations are run in this country, and the fact that it seems passing is such, there's such high stakes on passing the exam. It doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah, that has been the problem over the years. And so many people and even parents have put a lot of premium on their students passing and being admitted to the university. But I think it's a time now the government should start maybe making even mid-level colleges and TVETs to be a transition so that people should not be looking at only just going to the university. I mean, everybody should work hard to go to the university, but if you don't make it, then there has to be some mid-level colleges where you can just go and pursue some colleges which can also allow you to join the job market or even to transit even to university. And for me, I think the problem is with the policymakers at the Ministry of Education, because they've just made education, especially getting admitted to the university, to be the end game. That's why everybody is kind of saying as if you don't go to the university, then your life is doomed. I mean, that narrative should change by having had other pathways apart from going to the university that people you can just make it in life. If you just attend a TVET college, you become a mason and such a kind of courses. So that we now need to change the narrative like it is happening elsewhere.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
All right, Victor, one of the things that maybe we don't think through clearly, and maybe we need to enlighten this in terms of our education system, is the fact that even when you are qualified, that's not a guarantee for a job. And that should already, one would imagine, lower the stakes for just passing the exam. There needs to be more than just passing the exam. But we still put such high premium on passing the exam to a point where we have now teachers trying to collude with parents to, get leakage for the exam. I mean, if teachers are colluding with the parents, where does that even leave the learner?
It's weird. And like James said, I mean, one of the failures we have done is that we have looked, like you said rightly, we are looking at passing an exam is the only thing that comes with education, which is not the case. That we must have a continuous way of helping people grow, of saying that yes, it's glamorous and good to go to the university, and again detaching the issue of education and jobs, so that you are not going to school or you are not going past exams so that you'll get a good job, as it were, but that learning, you are getting educated to prepare you to do either business, self-employment, or do other, but it's just good to be educated and to be learned as a person, not simply because you are looking for a job, but even in your own way, these skills you learned in school can still help you even in lifelong skills, even in your business. So that's it. Two, we must, like James said, we must increasingly remove the social status that comes with passing exams. That there's too much pressure put on students by especially teachers and parents for the students to pass to the extent that they're involved in it. Because why, for example, teachers have introduced, and these things start in term 1. We have introduced, and parents pay for what is called motivational fee for the teachers. And at the schools I know where an A is 10,000 shillings for a teacher. So once we as parents have already, and the school administration, by January we have already told teachers an A is 100,000 or 10,000, whatever amount it is, we have already monetized even the education, so that everybody is not fighting for the students to pass, but they are looking for how many A's he will get, so that they are paid that motivational fee.
Absolutely.
Which is weird.
All right. Caleb, it looks like impunity is something that is so ingrained in us that sometimes we do it without thinking it's happening. Just like Victor is mentioning, you'll have what we'd call incentives, maybe for teachers, which are called incentives, but sometimes they're almost like bribes, because again, it works negatively, because for you to get that incentive, then you'd have to work things out in a manner that you ensure that you get it. For instance, now, you know, cheating through the examinations.
I think we have a lot of work to do as Kenyans. First of all, why do we cheat? We cheat because, one, we lost values as a country. When you have no value system, you can cheat. It's easy. I mean, the child will ask yourself, why should I work hard when an MP can easily get bribed and be a leader? Why should I work hard when a civil servant can do something with paperwork and get 10 million shillings in their account? So we lost our values. We no longer look at hard work as something that,
as a value that you have as Kenyans.
Yes.
How do we regain that? How do we get that back to that? Because here we are as a country fighting corruption. We can see what is happening. We have quite a number of leaders that have been brought before the courts on matters corruption. But is that going to be the solution?
In my view, it has to start in two places. It has to start in two places. In the home, the parents, modern parents, have to go back to the drawing boards, probably to do what our parents did, teaching us that hard work pays. And then two, our religious institutions have to help us here, because they have some influence in terms of faith of our people, that hard work pays. Then number three, if we go the way we are going, assuming it's genuine, where the DPP is pushing people to be punished, if you punish corruption and make it very painful to be corrupt, the public can start regaining ground that we've lost.
All right, James, what are your thoughts on how we can fight this impunity that we have in the country? Because it seems to have seeped into every sector.
I think I can just echo what Kareba said. We need to make impunity to pay. I mean, those who have been involved in all those evils, we're just talking about corruption and such. We must make it be very expensive, to be very painful for the offenders, so that at least those who are just coming up can learn from such a kind of an experience. And even the government needs to even walk a step further, because as much as we are just fighting the past corruption, I mean, nothing is being done on the new corruption. For instance, they need to have a change the mentality of the civil service. I mean, civil servants are recruited every day because everybody wants to be a civil servant, because that is the only easy way maybe to be rich. So I think we need to change the value system of the civil service, and maybe make it, try to change the perception of the people that when you just enter the civil service, it's not a ground for you to go and make money. It's a ground to go for you to make a change in the lives of the people. Because nowadays, most people are just fighting to go back to the civil service, because there is a lot of money going around. So I think we need to kind of change the way the civil service is working, and ensure that the people who have been recruited to serve in the civil service are doing the right thing.
All right.
Because like in the private sector, you don't experience much of such a kind of corruption because the systems are very tight. But it seems like in the civil service, the system are so amorphous, which allows people to kind of partake in such a kind of...
in those kind of impunity exercises. All right. Yeah. And let's also look at page 8 of the Standard. Page 8, Uhuru seeks China's help in SGR extension. And again, this, of course, is to do with grants that we're getting from other countries vis-a-vis debts, which possibly may have got us to where we are today, even as we are slapping 16% VAT on fuel. Victor, your thoughts on the president's charm offensive that he has had? He was in the US with Donald Trump. We had May coming. Now he's in China, possibly back, but was in China.
I think even at a personal level, people grow through loans. So loans per se is not the issue. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I've been following Renald Mengi, one of the biggest businessmen in Tanzania, and every time he goes, he says, if you fear loans, you never grow, because how much you save from your salary that you can invest in anything. So loan per se is not the issue. The bigger issue is the management and where that the loan go. So that, I mean, and if you see the president's visits to the US and China, you can see the language has changed. that is not just purely going for loans and grants, but we are looking at private partnerships. I mean, so that we are not just going, because some of these things, the thinking previously was government cannot be doing business, and in globally governments do not do businesses. I mean, government provides a policy and environment to allow private people to do business. So that's the approach, where if through the private public partnerships we can encourage more people to come in the country and invest, that's the way to go. And that to me, I mean, so how do we manage the resources that we have? That has been the bigger challenge that people are raising. Yes, we are getting loans, but where do they go? That's the bigger thing. But we can't run away from getting loans. We'll get loans, we'll get more loans. But the bigger thing is, how do we manage what we have? How are we investing these loans? Do these loans go to what they are meant to do when they are being applied for?
When they're being applied for.
Or the money is being diverted.
Okay, and I also want us to broaden the